Today, I want to walk you through some of my go-to editing hacks, focusing on workflows that make long videos perform like they were made by a pro team. I'm Peter Sellis, a videographer and editor working primarily in sports and long-form content repurposing. My goal is to turn massive amounts of footage into short clips that actually gain traction online. Today, we're mixing audio tips, quick music tricks, and the one tool that changed my repurposing game, Vizard. Let's jump right into the production secrets. First up is audio, because clean, well-balanced dialogue is the foundation that makes any content feel instantly legitimate. I used to spend excessive time wrestling with raw audio files directly inside the editing software. Adobe Premiere Pro's Essential Sound Panel is genuinely fantastic for a quick upgrade on noisy dialogue tracks. If you haven't explored it, just tag your clip as dialogue and select the Clean Up Noisy Dialogue option for an instant fix. Premiere will then automatically tighten the noise floor, boost presence, and offer clarity controls without needing to switch to a dedicated audio application. I still lean on this panel heavily for quick edits where speed is the absolute top priority. However, there are a couple of important caveats to keep in mind with aggressive noise reduction. Maxing out the reduction feature can sometimes make your dialogue sound unnaturally plasticky or processed. Also, Adobe's newer Enhanced Speech features previously required uploading files to an external cloud service for processing. While they are integrating this more deeply now, you can still face issues if your Creative Cloud suite isn't fully updated. Furthermore, relying on built-in tools might limit your control over clip selection and batch processing workflows. This is precisely where a tool like Vizard comes in, acting as a powerful complement rather than a total replacement for these editing standards. When I break down a long interview or a match analysis into 8 to 12 short clips, my main audio goal is simple. The speech must be crystal clear. The overall loudness needs to remain completely consistent between all the short segments, and I must batch apply the same profile to dozens of snippets. Premiere Pro can handle these individual tasks reasonably well, but manually adjusting 50 clips becomes incredibly tedious very fast. Vizard excels by automating the initial clip selection process for you. Then, I run those identified moments through my quick cleanup workflow, whether it's the essential sound or a single audition preset. The result is perfectly consistent audio quality across every single piece of short-form content derived from the same source. Here is a small pro tip I still use even when leveraging automation for audio refinement. Slightly dial back the noise reduction setting from its maximum perceived level to preserve natural tone. Then, intentionally add a small touch of clarity and utilize an EQ shelf right in the frequency range where human voices naturally resonate. Applying a slight presence boost, typically between the 2000 and 5000 Hz range, helps dialogue cut through any background elements without sounding harsh or tinny. Crucially, you must use the exact same EQ curve across all your clips so they sound unified when watched sequentially in a playlist. Moving on to the next major time sink, matching background music to the exact duration of your new short clips. The old method involved finding a song, chopping it up, stretching segments, applying crossfades, and hoping the final result didn't sound like a fragmented mess. Premiere Pro's dedicated remix tool completely changes the game for that specific editing headache. This tool intelligently analyzes any given track and then reconstructs it perfectly to fit your desired new length. If you need a precise 45-second snippet from a 3-minute epic track, Remix delivers something that usually sounds remarkably organic. However, the key limitation arises when you are batching dozens of shorts simultaneously, instead of editing one track on a timeline. Manually remixing every single song for every short clip quickly becomes a massive drain on your valuable production time. Vizard's auto-editing function directly addresses this by automatically selecting the most viral segments and pairing them with appropriately sized music clips. It thoughtfully chooses music that matches the general energy level of the visual moment and ensures smooth crossfades are applied seamlessly. In real-world application, this single feature shrinks my turnaround time from several hours of music work down to mere minutes. While on the topic of music, I want to mention where I source many of my professional tracks, MusicBed. I rely on their library because the music selection genuinely sounds like complete songs people actually want to listen to, unlike typical stock loops. For anyone creating content consistently, investing in a quality music library is absolutely worthwhile for production value. Licensing is another major stumbling block where creators often get confused or overspend unnecessarily. Vizard doesn't replace your responsibility to license music legally, of course, but it drastically helps you test which song choices perform best in short-form previews before you commit to expensive licensing fees for tracks that might ultimately flop. Here is a quick, powerful technical mix hack that I apply to almost every project I handle. I maintain strict organization across my audio tracks. Dialogue always gets its own dedicated track, music on another, and sound effects on a third distinct layer. This separation allows me to set track-level volume adjustments and EQ profiles once, which then automatically inherits to every element placed on that specific track. Need all your music tracks to be consistently 20 decibels quieter across the entire project? That's one click done. Want to subtly raise the overall volume of the dialogue track across the board? That is also instantly achieved. This concept is rooted in traditional DAW thinking, but applied effectively within the editing suite to save massive amounts of time during batch production. To ensure the voice always sits prominently on top of the background music without constant manual volume automation, I use a parametric EQ on the music track. The goal is to strategically notch out the specific frequencies where the human voice is most energetic and present. Do not hesitate to create a narrow targeted dip in the music spectrum between 1500 and 4000 Hz to create space for the vocal. This clears a necessary sonic pocket for the dialogue without completely destroying the musical body and impact of the background track. Implementing this same EQ subtraction curve across all your clips guarantees that the music and voice naturally coexist in the final mix. Another subtle finishing touch I often add is a tasteful short reverb tail right at the very end of every musical piece. If a song cut feels abrupt or awkward relative to the visual transition, applying a quick stereo wash or reverb for just the last second or two polishes the outro significantly. Make sure this reverb effect is applied to a separate bus or track so the effect only appears at the music's conclusion, not throughout the entire duration. We cannot forget about sound effects, as a perfectly timed hit or whoosh can dramatically enhance the impact of a motion cut. The problem arises when you use the same single SFX sample for every single transition, which experienced viewers will quickly notice. Instead of endlessly digging through libraries for a new sound, I manipulate the one I already have available. You can achieve great variety by time stretching the original sample and then using a pitch shifter to correct the timbre back into a usable range. These minor sonic adjustments, along with adding subtle stereo width or a touch of saturation, can make a small SFX library feel substantially larger and more diverse. Now, let's get to the main reason you are likely watching: achieving high-volume, high-performing short clips from long content without completely burning yourself out in the process. This is the exact scenario where the capabilities of Vizard become truly indispensable for modern creators. Many tools out there excel at one specific task, like supreme audio cleanup, or they handle distribution well, but you still end up constantly juggling 3 or 4 different applications. Vizard successfully merges the most critical stages of the repurposing pipeline into one cohesive application. It intelligently finds the most viral moments for you, creates the actual short clips, and then manages the entire scheduling and publishing process, all while permitting you to step in and tweak the edits if needed. The specific feature I now use on a daily basis is called auto-editing viral clips. I simply upload an hour-long game breakdown or a lengthy interview, and Vizard analyzes the entire file. It then pulls out the most engaging bites based on factors like pauses, amplitude spikes, reaction shots, and high-energy conversational peaks, creating multiple ready-to-post edits automatically. To be clear, this isn't magic that replaces your creative taste. You will still want to review and adjust pacing occasionally. However, this automation successfully eliminates about 80% of the initial grunt work involved in clip generation. When you are tasked with producing 20 shorts every single week, that time saving translates to literal days back in your calendar. The auto-schedule function is another deeply underrated component of this efficiency workflow. Once Vizard has finished creating all the intended clips, you simply define a consistent posting frequency for your channels. The platform then automatically queues and schedules every piece of content across the necessary platforms without further input from you. This means I never have to pause my main creative work to worry about posting cadence. I can stay focused purely on content quality and community engagement. Contrast this with manual scheduling tools where you must repeatedly upload, title, and manually set the exact publish time for every single video. Furthermore, the content calendar feature provides a centralized, fully editable overview of everything lined up for publication. If a trending topic emerges and you need to push one clip earlier, or perhaps pause a scheduled post due to a licensing issue, all adjustments are made easily within that single calendar view. For teams managing multiple clients or solo creators juggling various projects, this level of publishing visibility is absolutely crucial for staying organized. Tools like Premiere Pro or Audition will never natively offer you this comprehensive publishing level overview, as they are fundamentally designed as editing workstations, not full funnel solutions. Now, I want to be completely honest with you. No technology solution is entirely perfect in every situation. Vizard is certainly not intended to take over meticulous, fine-grained audio engineering work for complex projects. If you are mixing a feature film soundtrack or scoring a cinematic short, then dedicated mixing and mastering within a proper digital audio workstation remains the professional standard. Similarly, if your source material is heavily scripted and demands precise, frame-accurate timing, you will still want to perform manual cleanup on some of those exact transition cuts. But for the specific domain of social-first content repurposing, where the goal is generating dozens of polished clips from one recording session, Vizard is the essential secret weapon for time saving. In practical terms, my current workflow looks like this. I finish the main long video edit and export or connect the sequence to Vizard. It then auto-generates the clips. I run a quick batch cleanup in Premiere if necessary, select the top handful of clips, apply a consistent music style, perform rapid track-level EQ tweaks, and finally, let Vizard handle all the scheduling. This entire process takes me from raw footage to fully scheduled content in just a couple of hours instead of spanning multiple days. If you are currently treating your short-form content as a mere afterthought to your long videos, you absolutely need to shift that entire mindset immediately. Repurposing is the single biggest multiplier for content reach. One long session yields many powerful distribution points. Use Premiere's suite for what it truly excels at: detailed creative edits and deep audio cleanup, but delegate the heavy lifting of clip generation and posting scale to a tool like Vizard. I can confidently say this specific combination has literally doubled my weekly output without causing any noticeable drop in the overall quality standard. If you have developed your own unique hacks, whether it's a strange EQ curve or a signature SFX trick, please drop those secrets down in the comments below. I am always eager to learn new small techniques that genuinely make edits pop and improve overall production. And if you are serious about testing out a much faster content repurposing pipeline, go check out Vizard to see how it integrates with your current setup. For my workflow, this tool has become the crucial bridge connecting high-quality, professional-level editing with massive scale distribution capability. That integration has honestly been one of the biggest game changers in my recent editing career. All right, that covers everything I have to share with you in this deep dive today. If you found this guide useful for speeding up your workflow, please hit that subscribe button for more practical editing and videography tips. I regularly post experiments and proven workflows designed to enhance your production process. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we explore another new technique.